for that. That was stupid.
All right, go ahead.
You can just start talking at any moment.
Fucking live, boys.
Also, from the sake of a podcast standpoint, I just always cut out the first 30 seconds because it's like
we're live.
I see the number going up. You have to start fucking filibustering until there's 10 people. Calm down. Vin, Frank, Ange, how the hell are you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, Joe.
We're doing great. We're doing great. This is the Beanie Boys pod right now.
Beanie Boy edition.
Oh, word. Beanie Boys.
Vin, you got no orange in your thing, man. It's like mustard yellow. Let's go with that hat.
I don't know, man. It's what I got right now, man.
All right.
Let's the hat? You know, nothing on this?
I'm not even, dude. Frank, if you want to talk about this man's fucking full woolly poncho, feel free.
Look at that thing. It's glorious.
Oh my God.
That's what they thought. That's what they saw when they thought they saw a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
It's just him in the backyard. He was walking the dogs, and they were like, "It's Bigfoot."
They gave Bigfoot a yellow mustard hat like he's a construction worker.
Yo, everybody on Instagram, if you're watching and you want to get part of the conversation, we're not going to be able to see them unless you come Nicholas? To YouTube.
What up, brethren?
What up, Nicholas?
Facts.
What up, Eric Medell?
We can see YouTube. We can see Twitter comments. We cannot see IG. So if you on IG, you got to move over to YT or X.
Joseph Rivera, what's good? What's good?
Ange, I just found out you never knew what crab rangoon is.
Let us do the intros and shit, and then we'll get.
I just found out you never knew what crab rangoon is.
Oh shit, it's Goins.
What up, Goins?
It's good. Goins.
What up? So Ange, tell people what you get for your Chinese food order since you don't know no crab rangoon. You got some wonton soup?
I ain't getting Chinese nowadays, but if I was to get Chinese, just simple, keep it easy. General Child, white rice, nothing more. That's it.
They say that white rice is better than whole grain now. They flipped it on us.
All right.
Yeah, I'm tired of the narratives.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Chinese Food Energy Podcast.
Well, let's talk about the Knicks, though.
Let's talk about. All right. So before we talk about the Knicks, we had a huge trade happening in the past hour. It affects the Knicks a lot. Because the Pacers were right there with the Pacers, the Knicks, the Heat, the Cavaliers, and the Magic are all within 2 games of each other between 4 and 9, 4 and 8, whatever it is. And the Pacers just launched ahead, it seems like, getting Pascal Siakam for 3 first-round picks, Jordan Nwora, I never pronounced the dude's name, and buddy Bruce Brown. And then Kira Lewis is involved, so the Pelicans get on the tax, so that's shoulder, but that's whatever. The Pacers just got Pascal Siakam, man, to go with Tyrese Halliburton. How scared are you guys of the Pacers now?
I don't know. Where do they rank in terms of the duos in the East, Joe? Let's go through them quick. Mitchell and Garland, Julius and Jalen, Pascal and Tyrese, Jimmy and Bam. Who else we got? Are we calling Maxey and Embiid one?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, of course.
Giannis and Dame, obviously, and then Tatum and Brown.
There's duos. I mean, the East is full of great duos. They're going to be up there. Listen, I didn't
hear Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson.
He said it.
I said Julius Randle. I think he's going to enjoy playing over there, regardless of if he's a rental or not. I think playing with Tyrese Halliburton for a few months will persuade him into signing there at a max.
I'll tell you what, he better resign with them, because if he doesn't, I would say that they got fleeced personally. I think that giving up that much for Pascal Siakam is not the look. I think that he has proven to you that he is not that guy. And for a team to give up that many assets for a player who has proven to be a second guy on a team, I'm not a big fan of the move. If he doesn't resign, you better hope he resigns.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense over there in Indiana, because obviously Halliburton is the number one. They weren't looking for Pascal to come in to be the number 2.
100%. 100%. He's going to be a compliment to Halliburton.
What I do find a funnier narrative is Obi Toppin buried on that bench.
He was already down to 3rd string, man. It's just
buried on that bench. That goes to show he was never the long-term answer.
The grass is never greener on the other side most of the time.
Yeah, I bet he wished he never asked out now, man.
Yeah.
Nah, you got to give him the chance, man. He wanted to get a chance to start and play, getting 14 minutes to behind an all-star, borderline all-star. He started out the year starting. He was getting 20, 25 minutes a game. They benched him at some point for Jalen Smith because defensively he just went back to the same turnstile he always is. He started out rebounding good earlier in the year and then stopped doing that. I mean, his shooting splits are still – Obi Toppin's shooting 58% and 42% from 3 still, or 41% from 3 still. It doesn't even look like a dude, just if you look at sheer box score, that he would be getting benched based on anything he's done. It just turns out, like I say all the time, defense also matters in this game of basketball. It's not just offense.
It's not just offense.
Where would you guys rank the Pacers now? So if you want, Ange, go. Ange, go first, and I'll look up the standings currently.
Celtics number 1 in the East. Bucks number 2 in the East. Who else we got? We got 76ers,
Sixers, Cavs, Knicks.
Sixers, Cavs, Knicks. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like so sold on the 76ers, but I'll just throw them at number 3. And then I really think it's a crapshoot from there with Knicks, Miami, Pacers, Cleveland.
Well, Ange, listen here. Pacers are at 11th. They're 11th place right now at 35 and 47.
What are you looking? You're not looking at the right thing. They're 23 and 17. They're tied for 6th.
Oh shit! I'm looking at last year.
Yeah, what are you doing? All right, so right now, Boston's in 1st, Milwaukee's in 2nd, Philly's in 3rd.
My bad.
They're all within 4.5 games. Then there's a drop off. Cleveland is 7 games back in 4th place. Miami's tied with them in 5th place. Indy is 1 game back in 8th place. We're tied with Indy, or 8 games back in 6th place. We're tied with Indy. Orlando's 1 game behind us. That's from 4 to 8 is all within 2 games of each other right now. So it's still a clusterfuck. And only 3 of those 5 actually avoid the play-in.
I mean, really, with Pascal, maybe they go up a spot, but I don't think.
Frank, you're not sold on Pascal.
Nah, not really.
Is it his game or the fit?
You think about, so the Pacers have been scoring the most points in the NBA all season. Their pace is the highest, right, and all that stuff. So then you bring in a guy who's seasoned and plays more of a slower pace of basketball, right? So it's kind of like, what's the idea of picking this guy up? Where are you going now as a team? Like, are you going to continue to try and push the ball? Are you going to try and make Pascal fit into your offense? Is your offense now going to cater to Pascal's type of basketball? Like, to see where this team is going to be and where they're going to position in the conference, I have to see this team play basketball. To me, it doesn't do much because I don't. So when we got OG Anunoby, right, to tie it back to the Knicks, we knew what he was going to do for us as a team. Like, when he walked in the door, you were like, we know what kind of style of basketball we're going to play now, right? All the unsureties of like IQ, how he fits in, RJ, how he fits in, that all went away. We see a team of matured basketball players who know what their role is as a team and know how to play within the system, right? With Pascal Siakam going to the Pacers, you have no idea how it's going to affect the team, the chemistry of the team, the play style of the team, the pace of the team. So to say that they're going to go up and down, you have no idea, right? They could potentially become worse because if they don't mesh together and their styles don't mesh together, then it's like, oh, now think of the Heat, how the Heat didn't mesh. I'm not to say it's to the same level, but like think of how LeBron and Dwayne Wade failed for like half of a season.
That was scary.
Right?
That first quarter of the season.
So there's
was
a chance
scary.
you can see them dip. You can see them dip. They might not just succeed right away. So to say where they're going to be, you got to see where that like bell curve is. Let them play a bunch of games, probably around like 10 games. My friend Terrence always says it's like the best meter. He's played 10 games. You can see where I'm at. And then once you have that, then you can make your decision on where they're going to be.
Then what do you think?
It's fair, you know.
I don't know. Obviously, they got somebody who's a board getter that they were lacking, right? Who was starting at the power forward?
Jalen Smith.
I don't think he was doing anything that was making him better. Then obviously they wouldn't go for a guy like this if he was doing better. I think it brings them up. I think that they're in top 4 conversation at this point. I think they give the East a problem.
If the Knicks,
honestly, I think that brings them right where we are. I think we're like the
Knicks Pacers see each other 4 or 5 now.
Well, that's the question. Do you think the Pacers are going to be better than the Knicks? Do you
right.
think the Knicks are
exactly.
in the same?
I think we're going to be neck
really
and neck all season, and the placement's going to be 2 games separate.
So you think the teams are comparable to each other?
Yes, I think that made them comparable to us for sure.
I think the biggest thing for this is that Pascal Siakam is a 6'9" guy with a 7'3" wingspan. It's why he's always been good at defending his position and can defend 3 through 5. He played a lot of small ball 5 in his career for Toronto. Rick Carlisle, we know, is willing to actually go small. Miles Turner's a legit center, but Miles Turner 10 years ago would have been a power forward. You know what I mean? He's willing to play a guy that can cover the position without being 7 foot, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, etc. So I think it's going to help them out a lot on that end. This team is 5th to last in defensive rating, which is an improvement because they were last for like the first third of the season. So for them to even be 25th instead of 30th is something. He's going to help them get up to like 20th, which if you're still the number one offense and you're just that much better defensively, it's just going to help out a lot. And for the games that Halliburton missed, they have a guy that can lead the team, be a bucket better for a few days in a row. It just, I think the fit's going to work out pretty well. I still am a little hesitant on him actually staying there long term. A lot of it's based on Halliburton and the play style and stuff. But if Pascal just thinks that this is running up and down the court over and over again, and for half the game, the defensive half of the game, there's like not a real there's not a real purpose to what they're doing, and it's just like still a bunch of mishmash. And it's like Miles Turner allegedly was a great defensive center, and he hasn't shown that at all in 2 years in a row now. So,
bro, how old is Pascal?
29 turning 30.
I'm saying, like, you trying to like increase your cardio at that age? You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know,
facts. Vin, you want to go through some of these comments real quick?
Yeah. Before we do that, I want to say that we did post earlier. We now kind of have a source inside the organization, and Jalen Brunson is active tonight. Jalen Brunson will be active tonight, so that's pretty damn cool. We're coming, Teddy. We're coming, Teddy.
Before we go any further, I just want everybody to acknowledge the passing of the Golden State Warriors assistant coach. That seemed to be pretty tragic. Supposedly they were.
Is that what happened? He passed away?
It says he's in the hospital. Did it just happen that he passed away?
He's not here no more. Supposedly they were at a team dinner and it happened there. So that's really, and they're postponing the game. So RIP to him. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to fuck it up, but Dejounte something. All right.
Oh, Woj just posted it. Damn.
RIP.
That sucks.
Before we go any further on the comments, Joe, I feel like you'll have some say in this, Frank, Vinny, obviously all you guys. Supposedly Bruce Brown still might be swung to another team. I don't know if you guys seen, but I mean, I've seen during the summer that Bruce Brown was a target. And supposedly, according to Bondi, the top 3 targets from the Knicks this past summer were Strus, number 1, Brown, number 2, and DiVincenzo, number 3. So I don't know if also you've seen Bruce Brown comment on Tibbs saying Tibbs was always a favorite of Bruce Brown. So do you think there's anything there, Joe?
He's not a guy that can bring the ball up the court. He's not a backup bucket getter, which is the things we need the most from a guy that size right now.
I agree with you, but that would be
he's like Josh Hart. We already have a Josh Hart.
Yeah. That would be like us doing business with Toronto twice. I don't see that happening again.
Let's get over to Teddy. So we need Dejounte, man. The East is too competitive. I agree. The East is getting pretty stacked right now, and I'm sure this is not the last move we're going to hear of for the deadline. Yeah, we need to make a run at a scorer. We need a bucket getter. Above all, we need a shot creator. We need someone who can create their own shot off the bench, or if it's in the starting lineup. If you really look at it, we really only got Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and we're kind of seeing OG can do it as pure shot creators for themselves. A lot of these guys are catch and shoot guys. Dante DiVincenzo's kind of coming into his own a little bit, but we really need shot creators. So guys who give themselves their own opportunities.
Can you acknowledge that you weren't a DDV fan?
I was not a Dante DiVincenzo fan at the start of the season.
Can I tell you who I saw the Knicks? I don't know where I saw it. I don't remember when I saw it, but I saw a name tied to the Knicks, and I absolutely loved it. Alex Burks. Alec Burks on Detroit coming back to the Knicks would be fantastic. I'm a big fan of that, but I don't know I didn't see anything else about it or how serious it was, but
I mean, yeah, they've been saying. I think Alec Burks has been like one of the guys. Malcolm Brogdon. It was Jordan Clarkson, and now the Jazz are like 13-4 in their last 17 games and are now in the playoffs. Like,
dude, Alec Burks.
So I don't think they would want to deal with us. Yeah,
Alan Hahn thinks that's the perfect. Alan Hahn tweeted yesterday or this morning that he thinks that's the perfect fit. He said
Alec Burks?
He said like.
Oh my god.
That sounds like to me that someone from within the organization told Alan Hahn that, hey, we're trying to get Alec Burks, make it sound good on TV.
Dude, off the bench, he's a certified.
He did say like he's not stating this with any info behind the scenes. He's just talking as if it's his belief upon it, you know?
Right.
Goins wants to know who we think the Knicks would make us a team for real in the NBA.
I'll start this one off. Joe, go ahead. Joe, let's try and go in order. We'll go Joe, me, Frank, Vinny.
And I'll be fast anyway. I really think Dejounte Murray is the best guy available right now that should be available, and he would upgrade our
Well, wait,
starting two role.
is the question realistic person, or are we going like our dream person who we think would make
Realistic.
I mean, I would have said Devin Booker if I wanted to go like dream fit scenario.
I didn't know what he was. I just wanted to make sure.
Let's go real. I think it's got to be Dejounte Murray. And
Joe, I think it's Dejounte Murray's as well, but where does that take us? Does that make us any better than the team above us?
I mean, I said this at the beginning of the year, and it just sucks because it's like the Knicks do look so good for so long. I just never saw a path that they would be better than Boston or Milwaukee. The second that I think they can take the 76ers. I would take, like, if I was making the picks right now, I would say the Sixers would win in 6. But like, if the Knicks won in 7, I'm not like dumbfounded by that. If they beat the Bucks or the Celtics in a 7-game series, barring an injury to one of the Bucks' big 2 or one of the Celtics' big 3, I mean, you could even say big 4. Like, Derek White's better than Drew Holiday now, and might make the All-Star team. So they have like maybe 4 All-Stars, but like, I just don't see it. I could see the Knicks taking the Sixers as is. I could take them taking the Pacers. The Pacers are still a very top-heavy, like, we run basketball one type of way team. And if there was a thing that Tibbs could, in essence, do, if he ever takes away the 3-point line with his defensive scheme, it is to slow down the fastest-paced team in the league. And then the Magic and the Cavs, it's like, like, I think we'd be favored in both of those, but we could lose those, I still think 3 through 8 is really a crapshoot. Like, from the 76ers all the way down to the Magic, it's like any of those 5, 6 can beat anyone on any given night.
I think what happens here with, like, the Pascal trade, I just think that gives the Knicks a sense of urgency, or at least it should. Like, Leon Rose should see this and be like, all right, this team's getting better. And don't get me wrong, we already got better with OG, but I think there's another level that we could get to, and we have the assets.
Yeah, I think the Knicks started the speed route, because the past 3 years, they've always made their deal by January. They never wait till February to make that big deal. I'm going to read this from Teddy real quick, Frank, and then you can go. Burks is mid, especially because this is attacking your boy. Burks is mid, doesn't make us significantly better, in my opinion. He's also playing very well, barely. If you look at his stats at the beginning of the year, he isn't great. His January has been great. He's been averaging over 20 points per game off the bench.
Alex Burks is an absolute walking bucket. And if you watched basketball, you would know that this guy is a certified bucket getter. If you ask around the league about this guy one-on-one, he's going to score a bucket on you. He is exactly what you need off of the bench.
Yo, he's going to get a bucket, and he's going to be like this.
Not only that,
I love the stone face.
He's a certified bucket getter, but he also is a smart basketball player, so you can count on him to make the right plays. Like, he's not just somebody that's going to be in there to score baskets. He has think about how a championship team makeup is. You have the youth, you have the star, and then you have the veterans.
Eric agrees.
Where's our veterans, right? You need some of that older mix in that gives you, like, even keeled time, like clock management. There's so much to what it comes to age in basketball and understanding of the game that the Knicks just don't have. They have it in their starting lineup in Jalen Brunson, who is an absolute, like, he's a puppet, like a puppeteer. Like, he knows how to manage the game, manipulate the defenses, but we don't have it off the bench. And
Facts.
Unfortunately, and a guy like Alex Burke is going to give you everything you need off of the bench.
So Frank,
I'm going to support that. I'm going to support
everything
that
off the bat, everything you want. Like, I'm
going to support that by saying the Knicks already.
He can rebound. He knows how to play the passing lanes. He plays decent defense. He shoots the 3 ball at a decent clip. Like, he knows how to attack the basket. He's a really good basketball player.
So it's been reported that the Knicks are not
cheapest too.
Going after an all-star.
Probably the cheapest.
That it's going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're going after it in the offseason, right? So the cheapest, as in, yeah, you get to keep your assets, and like most of your good assets,
get the bang for your buck
too. Star in the offseason. Like, I've said this on almost every stream. I like Dejounte Murray, but I think 2 first-round picks is too much to give him.
Exactly.
Because we only have 4 this coming, and I want to keep at least one of them.
Listen,
and I would like to use those 3.
You don't want to start moving first-round picks for bench guys.
Well, he wouldn't be a bench. Dejounte Murray wouldn't be a bench guy.
He's coming. He's starting. He's playing 35 minutes, and he's on the team.
Right? No, I guess yes, but like, yeah, sure, that's a good point. But at the same time, like, if you know that you have these assets and you're guard heavy as is, why would you spend all these assets to be another guard heavy when you are?
Well, you would assume Evan Fournier, Grimes are in this deal.
Yeah, I guess so. And if you can get rid of the bad contract, it would be a little bit helpful in that, I guess. I mean, I could see it, but then it's a question of
My only concern is the picks.
I'm always to the picks thing. I'm always because the one that's like going around online, which I really like, because the Knicks keep both their own picks, and from another team standpoint, it's like they're not like they say they're protected first round picks, but like they'll convey. It's like the Dallas pick this year that's top 10 protected, and they're gonna make the playoffs. They're not gonna do the same thing they did last year, and then the Bucks top 4 protected next year, which will 100% convey. And that's honestly what the 28th to the 26th to the 30th pick in the draft.
Let's say Joel Embiid becomes available next year.
Well, my response to that
because you gave that away early.
So my response to that is just you're sending picks out, but you could always think you can trade players to get picks back, or maybe the team like the Raptors they wanted players. They didn't want picks. That's why we had to give them IQ and RJ instead of just giving them 3 first rounders. Like now they have a young core. They're throwing in a couple of guys, and now they're like, we'll take Bruce Brown as veteran leadership for a little bit. Maybe we'll deal him again.
Aside from the Jazz, right? Trading away your stars. Usually teams, once they trade away a star, they're rebuilding. They're not going like.
But how do you have to rebuild? Who says you have to draft? Who says you can't just draft and take a bunch of 20-year-olds?
Well, think of it this way as well. Like this far into the season where we're really trying to get our position in the conference, right? Do you want to make this drastic move now that is going to shift the entire landscape of your team after you just made a trade that shifted the entire landscape of your team? Because if you look at it, when we got rid of RJ and we got rid of IQ, how many looks did we get rid of, really? Right? Like as far as like how many shots
30.
They averaged a combined 28 shots a game.
So when you add Dejounte, those looks obviously are going to be depleted again. And the success that we had was being able to let our 2 main guys not have to focus.
I got to push you back, Frank,
for a third guy.
Dante DiVincenzo's looks went way up. So if anything,
and that's the way. But that's the way. Yeah, I understand that. But Dante DiVincenzo is going to be relegated to the bench, and then so is Josh Hart, right? So then one of those guys got to be moved in that trade. Then no,
Josh Hart, we still don't know if he could be traded.
I do know. I told you for 2 days. I did. Yeah, I found other articles. I literally sent CBS Sports to our chat.
Boys are here to stay. Please, can we?
Yeah, I don't think Villanova boys are leaving.
A little bit.
All right. So you got to look at it this way. In this season, we brought in Dante DiVincenzo. They brought in Josh Hart. Right. It was written they're moving these young guys. They wouldn't bring in their replacements for that much money if they didn't plan on moving them.
I think picks. I don't know who wants to.
If we don't trade Fournier now.
By the way, Alec Burks makes $11 million a year, which is a really, really crappy number for the Knicks to try to deal because they can't deal Achua. That's not enough, and you can only deal Achua one-on-one. They can't deal Fournier because he makes too much. If Achua doesn't make enough, you can't deal Grimes unless you package some of these guys together. $11 million is like fucking no man's land for the Knicks to try to get right now.
Joe, this is for you.
If we don't trade Fournier now for a $20+ million player, we'll have no one to flip for the next star. They could actually exercise Fournier's team option if they really wanted to keep the guy in the team for another year. And I said this before that if I was Evan Fournier, I would have threatened to retire. Straight up. I already made my millions here, almost 100 mil in my career. I can literally play in France or Spain or Belgium or Germany and be the best player on the team. Just dip out. Be like, yo, you sacrificed my whole late prime. I am out of here. Goodbye, Tom Thibodeau.
Imagine them wasting 3 years of this guy's career.
Yo, hashtag free Evan Fournier.
Hey, listen,
hashtag free Evan Fournier.
It comes beyond. It becomes
free Evan Fournier.
Bro, there's so much pride on the line, you know? Like he could probably go make listen, after this contract is
crazy goings.
After Evan's contract up with the Knicks, he's not going to get the bag that he got again. He could get that in Europe, but it's just more about the pride. Dude wants to play in the NBA, you know, wants to play in the greatest league in the world. Who don't want all the spotlight and all the attention that you get playing in the league, you know?
Literally, to get Alec Burks, you'd have to package like Grimes, Arcidiacono, and another player, Sims or something.
Finally. Yo,
get there.
I have a monologue ready for today's.
That sounds good, though, Joe. That's worth it.
3, no, it's not. Grimes, Arcidiacono, and Sims for Alec Burks. Also, then you have to ruin your run. Are we bringing up Jacob Toppin? I think Jacob Toppin deserves some run at this point based on his G League performances. Let's bring the guy up. Let's see what he can do. Or
if it's going to let that happen, Joe.
I haven't been following. What has his numbers been? I'm curious.
27 and 4 with over a stock a game on like decent shooting splits. And he plays way better defense than Obi.
Let them finish. And then I'm coming.
Could we get one person checking comments and reading them instead of all of us all over the place?
Yeah, then go ahead. Go off for a little bit.
All right. Goins says, because you know how Randle gets down, he's a choke artist in the clutch, and he loses focus and fucks up games for us. That's not consistency. Lucky for you guys, I watched a 2-hour video on Julius Randle, right? And it changed my mind, and I hope it could change yours. And I'm going to do this as fast as I can because we got more comments coming in. Julius Randle, his first year in the playoffs with the Knicks, was the only shot creator on that team. Look around that team. There was nobody else who can do it. And RJ Barrett was there that year, and he was supposed to turn into a shot creator. That was going to eventually help. Julius Randle was filling a void the first year in the playoffs. The second time he goes into the playoffs, guess who's still not that good? RJ Barrett. They went to the playoffs. They missed the playoffs. They went to the playoffs again.
Who else did they have that second year?
Alfred Payton was the only other shot creator the first year, right? So imagine you being the only man who can literally do anything in the playoffs, getting double teamed when you're trying to create your shot.
It's not wrong, guys.
Right? Now let's go to the playoffs where we lose Mitch, right? He has Jalen Brunson, right? He gets injured. He got injured. The dude missed basketball games. The dude missed the first 2 games of the Heat series and then came back to play. And then actually had a good game against the Heat. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was his best playoff game ever.
Yeah, I want to follow up. I don't think people give Randle enough credit for just being, because I feel like I relate to him because he's just like a no-nonsense guy. He puts his head down and gets to work every day. He don't give a F what anybody has to say about him.
I implore you guys to judge Julius Randle after this playoffs. This is the first time he's got help around him. And if you I hate to say if you really know ball.
He had help last year, but he was just hurt.
Listen, judge him. Keep your judgment until after this playoff season.
I agree.
Free range after this playoff season. He's got all the help he needs. Just hold it.
Hey, guys, I thought of a crazy trade involving Alec Burks, by the way, because of his no-man's land
last
contract.
year, he legitimately got injured.
Thanks,
missed
Joe.
the first game of the Miami Heat. Played injured. Had a great playoff game. Was still injured.
Frank, I got you.
That's why I love you, buddy.
Let everybody go through with that Randle talk. Frank, I want to hear.
Anybody on Instagram? We can't see your comments, so if you guys come over here, we can share your comments on screen like this. See?
What do you want to hear?
Let Frank talk. I want to hear Frank what he has to say about that same one. Stop.
About Mitchell, about Julius Randle in the playoffs?
Yeah. Just that comment right there.
I low-key agree. I think that Mitchell, I keep saying Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, his body language is terrible when it comes to high-pressure situations. Him being as strong as he is and how strong he goes to the basket, he expects to get a call on every single take to the rack.
And he's not LeBron James.
Just took the words out of my mouth. With that being said, you are not LeBron James.
He's a drunk LeBron James, which is still a compliment.
We need you to. He's a poor man's LeBron James, and I always said that about him. I agree. Just like I always said that. Homie on the Warriors,
Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond is just like the same kind of like poor man's LeBron. Gives you a bit of everything, but the thing is, he's not LeBron, so he needs to stop being so affected by these no calls, and he needs to run back and play defense. He's got to stop. He's got to start leading this team, not with his play, but with his mentality, because he's super talented. The only thing that I feel that he misses is long stretches of mental fortitude in times where he really needs to show those things. And that's my only gripe with Julius Randle. He's a fantastic basketball player. We gave him the keys that 1 year where he facilitated our offense and he put up season highs and everything. He can get you a bucket when you need to. My problem with him is I was talking to my buddy. He doesn't really have a bag like that. Think about how he gets Julius Randle can go and get you a bucket, but when he goes and gets you a bucket, it's going to be a hard bucket. It's not going to be an easy one. It's going to be a fadeaway. It's going to be a step back. He's going to be getting fouled. Guys that's why Jalen Brunson's so important to the Knicks. Jalen Brunson can go get you a bucket in space. He knows to create himself space and get easy baskets. So Julius has to really realize that he's not that guy, which is fine. And you need to start focusing that frustration on other parts of the game other than complaining to referees. Once he starts doing that, I think you see the next level of what Julius Randle could be. That's what he's missing because he has everything else.
We're running out of time for the next Julius Randle, by the way. The guy's about to be 30 years old. At this point,
I agree, Goins. I agree.
I want to point something out about Julius Randle, which I think a lot of people only pay attention to his career on the Knicks. Julius Randle got drafted to the Lakers. Julius Randle had a season-ending injury. He comes back. Yep. He is a drive-to-the-paint scorer. His efficiency through the roof, right? Mm-hmm. He goes over to the Pelicans. He does it even better. His efficiency goes through the roof. He's driving to the basket. He's got a little bit of a mid-range. He's starting to develop that three-point shot. He goes over to the Knicks, a depleted Knicks that have nothing. Nobody who can handle the ball. Nobody who could shoot the ball. Nobody who could drive to the basket. This man, Julius Randle, went and filled the void for Tom Thibodeau and did what Tom Thibodeau asked of him. He goes, start dribbling, start shooting. Guess what happens? Jalen Brunson comes to the team. That three-point shooting starts to go down. He starts driving to the basket more. What happens this year? He's shooting the least amount of threes we've seen him shoot as a New York Knick. And he's the most efficient we've seen him as a New York Knick.
You're losing, coach.
Listen, if you're playing the role you're supposed to play, and that's why they went and got OG Anunoby. That's why they went and got Jalen Brunson. This team is actually built around Julius Randle.
Turnovers. No, Julius Randle. But by the way, coach, Julius Randle had 0 turnovers in the last game we played against Orlando.
So hear me out.
Just a heads up.
If you have Julius Randle doing that spin move, which I guess they nicknamed him Beyblade because of that shit. He's trying to do shit he's not supposed to do because the organization is asking him of that.
No, yeah, what? No, he's
listen. Julius Randle had some shit games without Jalen Brunson. What happened? He had to become that shot creator again. What a surprise! His efficiency went down. How we looked at that second playoff run.
Ben, since you started this Julius Randle rant, we've lost 10 people watching. Who he is at this point.
The truth, Joe.
It's not the truth, man. He has terrible body language. He is who he is.
Okay, he had terrible body language.
But he has terrible body language all the time. He's the 50th.
Have to do with the way he plays.
Your effort affects your teammates. It affects the people around you. You can't suck and then suck at defense and then bitch to the ref and then still not make up for it.
Randle is going to make you forget about the last 2 games tonight because
Julius Randle needs to run back on defense. Julius Randle.
I agree with the whole the body language thing is a big deal, bro. You got to show you got to be a leader. If you're the main guy and you want to be a leader, they're gonna your teammates follow what you're doing.
Imagine looking up to a guy doing this all the time. Oh. And while you're fucking sprinting back.
Yeah, imagine your best player on your team is stopping to argue with the ref, and then it's 4-on-5.
Fucking running sprint to play defense, and your guys are down court talking to refs.
All 3 of you were saying the biggest issue with Julius Randle's career has been his gripe with refs.
It's it's just overall body language, man. This man misses 3 shots in a row, and he's sad he doesn't play defense half the time.
Mental fortitude and body language are his biggest problems. If he fixes those things, he's going to be a fucking all-star every year.
All right.
He has the talent. I'm not discrediting his talent.
I got to say, Coach is being funny right now by mentioning Sabonis and Cat because they're both also soft players.
We are going to move on from the subject of Julius Randle. I just want to say, please hold your judgment until after this playoffs.
Yeah, no, the guy's great. I don't think he stinks. There's certain things you just obviously see, and it's like, why does nobody pull this guy aside and be like, stop doing this?
That's also the thing about Tibbs, man. It's like allegedly Tibbs is this hard-ass coach and like the fans the best of his players, but the players been the best. Everyone that's not Julius Randle. Theo Pinson even said it on his own podcast. If your name's not Julius Randle, he expects the most out of you.
Yo, listen, Coach Ciari referenced James Harden.
What? Yeah, I mean, but James Harden is better than Julius Randle.
Hold on, Captain.
All-stars. If you're an all-star, you're an all-star, right?
What about?
That's not true. There's like superstars. There's all-stars. There's like 10-time all-stars. There's 2 times all-stars.
He is Knicks all-star, okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, we got to get a better one. That it is what it is.
I don't disagree.
That's all you have to say. You don't disagree. The Knicks need better players to win a championship.
Let's get off the topic of trade rumors.
I don't disagree, but hold on. I don't disagree, but give him one more shot.
We spoke about Julius Randle enough. He's not getting traded this year. Support him. He's going to be out of Knicks. Let's talk about the matchup against the Rockets. Joe, what do you think about this game tonight? It's at the Garden, no? Correct?
See.
Young team coming into town, brand new identity, brand new coach, brand new core of players. They kept Jalen Green and Jabari Smith from last year, obviously, and added to them and Fred VanVleet.
You didn't even mention their best player, bro.
Jalen Green.
No shot. Alperen Sengun is by far their best player.
I just said Sengun.
Nah, you said Green and Jabari.
Well, whatever. Sengun is there. Dylan Brooks is now there. It could be one of those games.
19-20.
Hey, Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is going to try to beat up Randle tonight. And I don't mean literally. You know what I'm trying to say. He's going to try and get him angry.
He's going to get in his head. He's going to get in his head.
So this could be one of those games that if we falter, a lot of noise after this game.
You got to watch out for Sengun to have a big game. That's what the only worry that I have is that this guy is too crafty for the Knicks, and he's going to make us look bad on the interior.
So I like the Rockets as a team. Alperen Sengun is one of my 3 favorite players in the league. I do say it all the time. They are so young and horrendous on the road. They're 4-14 on the road. They're like 15-4. They're like 15-4 at home. I don't know, whatever makes it 19-20. So I guess 15-6 at home. They're just a young, inexperienced team that wins home games and loses road games. And this is the type of game where it's like I expect Jalen Green to put too many shots and kind of shoot them out of the game. Straight up. I expect Jabari Smith to maybe do a similar thing. I expect Sengun to like put up some decent numbers, but there's been games where Sengun starts 1 of 8 and ends up like 8 of 16. Like if they start out 1 of 8, if they're 4 best players, and then Dylan Brooks is as likely to get thrown out as Julius Randle is, if not way more so. I'm not truly worried about tonight, especially with Brunson coming back. I'm just not.
The Brunson burner.
Joe, does Sengun play the 4 or 5?
Plays the 5 for them.
All right. We saw what I have confidence in Isaiah Hartenstein. We saw
what this is going to be a hell of a statement game for Isaiah if he's able.
We saw what Isaiah did. No, listen, no game was bigger than what he did to Joel Embiid. This is potato chips compared to
Alperen Sengun plays way more like Nikola Jokic than Joel Embiid. He's not trying to score. It's a different dude. He can't. I mean, he's shorter than Hartenstein, which usually affects people negatively, obviously. But if he's trying to make bounce passes around the guy, it's different than trying to score on top of him.
Who's Julius's matchup tonight?
Frank, what do you think of the game tonight?
Jabari.
I'm going to assume we're going to see what we've been seeing with teams that we should be beating. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than we like, but I think fortunately we're going to have something tonight that we didn't have in our last game against Orlando, and that is a closer, a bona fide closer.
Facts.
So I think that I'm assuming the Knicks are going to win. I would take the Knicks. I think that it's going to be a little closer than we'd like, but
everything's the opposite.
The Rockets are not a good defensive team, and all the people that are saying that are just sick of Julius Randle and think the Rockets are going to win in MSG.
You saw what Goins says.
Just so you know, the next time Joel Embiid sees Hartenstein is going to destroy this motherfucker. Man, Hartenstein's going to stick his hat out. Hartenstein's going to stick his foot out. He's going to tweak his ankle again for Embiid, and Embiid's going to be
Hartenstein does not care about getting dunked on. I love that.
The one thing that worries me about this team is when Brunson is out, is that we really do struggle. So I think like the Knicks need to make a trade for some type of creator because Brunson is, he's getting beat up out there. Like he just can't give that type of effort daily playing against team. I'm not saying not to go hard against every team, but he's getting beat up out there. Besides not even getting calls by the refs on fouls, he's taking 50 charges a game. Dude's an absolute maniac. So you gotta be careful with how we use Brunson going forward.
Well, I guess if you want to look at like histories of successful teams, you always look, there's 2 really good guards and then 1 guy down low. So I guess it would make sense to make a move this season for somebody that's like a premier scorer on your starting rotation, I guess. And then but you'd have to my biggest thing is like, if you're going to do this, you have to deal with the ebbs and flows of getting a new player. Luckily, when you got OG Anunoby, he was a low risk type of person to like weave into your offensive dynamic, right? He didn't really change much for you. He kind of just enhanced the spots where you were missing. With a scorer, you're really going to have to figure out the dynamic between the 2 guards. Julius's looks are obviously going to have to go down a little bit, in my opinion, because if ever you have 2 predominant scorers on the wing, you want them to take the most shots because they can get the highest scoring point. Right. So I don't know. I now that I think what he just said, I think maybe it would be a good idea for us. You might have to sacrifice the rest of the season, though. That's the biggest thing. You never know.
Yeah, Randle did say that about after the trade. I don't know if they asked him the next game or a couple of games after, whatever it was, and they kind of asked him like, "Are you surprised about how OG has just seamlessly fit in?" And he honestly just said like, "Yo, you just never know though." Like you took away 2 guys that this is.
Oh shit! We didn't even see your comment, Mike.
You took away a couple of guys that have been on the Knicks for 3-4 years. You know, that's guys that you've been playing with a long time that you expect to be in a certain spot at a certain time, and you know, you just traded them away, and thank God it worked. It worked out well. So far, so good.
Mike is saying rumors where Murray and Capella are trying to get packaged. What would you give up? Not sure about Capella contract, but interest on your guys' thoughts.
Mike, this is why you got to listen to every podcast, man. We talked about this ad nauseum like yesterday.
He was here yesterday, I believe.
Oh, then he should have heard. It's Murray and Capella would have to go for like Mitch, Grimes, and Fournier and 2 first-round picks or something like that. That's basically the money that gets you there. And if you're dealing for Capella, you're probably including Mitch just because what are you going to have 4 centers on your team? That doesn't make any sense. And Capella can take the place of Fournier's expiring contract next year. He's making $22 million on a player option next year.
They wouldn't trade Sabonis for Randle.
No, yeah. The Kings wouldn't do that. Would we? Sure, maybe. I mean, but the Kings would.
If Randle gets moved, it's going to be in a package deal.
I'm saying maybe because Sabonis can't really play the 4 and he wouldn't play Tibbs 5. So with Tibbs as the coach, it's not like a guarantee that would be a deal that happens.
I would also say anybody saying trade Randle, I think the intel we've gotten, Angelo, correct me if I'm wrong, it's likely he's not getting moved this season.
I hope he never gets moved for me personally. I'm riding with Randle.
He's never going to be on this team during a title game. He's never going to make the finals with the Knicks.
Joe's ears are burning.
No, dude, Strip, we've talked about it, Ange. We fan differently. You want to see the Knicks be competitive and good. I want to see the Knicks win a title. He's never going to be on the Knicks finals team in New York.
My honest opinion, I don't think Randle's a Knick for life. I don't think Jalen Brunson's even a Knick for life. Let's just be realistic. Players don't stay with the same team for 10 years anymore. People like change, not in just basketball, but life.
Yeah.
Coach says you guys are mad at Mitchell's contract, but will pay Capella 25, which is not true. I think Knicks fans are pretty happy with Mitchell Robinson's contract. It's very team friendly for his skill level.
And it's not about dealing Mitch or not dealing Mitch, so that you wouldn't have all of them on the team. You just can't build an NBA roster with Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, Clint Capella, and Evan Fournier if you're making this deal.
Eric brought this up. We haven't touched on this, which I'm honestly a fan of, the Drummond and DeRozan move.
You want to know who I signed? And it's going to cost you peanuts? Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard off of the bench.
Boogie Cousins, baby.
I would take Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's still playing. He's in good shape. The guy is a prestigious basketball player. He's a champion. He will be you'll pay peanuts for him.
Let me ask you guys a question now that we've been watching the Knicks this season so far. We know Josh Hart's play's kind of been underwhelming as far as the box score. So what have you guys thought about his play as of late? Because he's getting killed.
Can I start? I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is going to sound super weird. I don't remember. This is really out there, by the way. I don't remember what game it was, but I was going to text you, Vin. I was going to say, I think there's something wrong with with Josh Hart. That he did, bro, they had the camera on him and just the way he was moving, he just didn't seem right. And ever since that game, he has not been playing well. And I'm not kidding. Like something within me just saw something.
What
things. I don't, dude. It was probably like a week ago.
To bring you back, I don't know if you've seen this report. I know Angel and Joe.
I can't remember. I wish I texted him so I could have dated it.
He did. There was a report that says he's kind of lost in the offense. He doesn't know what his role is, and then he started playing a couple good games after that, and then they go and get OG Anunoby. So you could be seeing him just not knowing his role again.
Yeah, I always allude to this. Things change. Teams change. Like immediate impact doesn't happen right away. OG has seen an immediate impact, but like you said, Josh Hart's impact has kind of declined since OG. Now
OG kind of does what Josh Hart does. He's just bigger and better.
That's up to, this is now up to Tibbs and Josh to come together and figure out a way how he could be utilized best.
I mean, really what he should be doing is giving you what OG Anunoby gives you off the bench. That's like the perfect world. But, he just –
I think Josh Hart came in to be like a guard stopper.
He's in a slump, man. Guys getting slumps. He's in a bit of a slump.
Guys get in slumps.
Am I wrong that he came in to be 3-and-D guard stopper?
OG?
No. Josh.
Hart? Yeah.
Yeah.
3 and D
Not even
guards-
3-and-D, dude. He's never been a good 3-point shooter. He's more
I
like
know
a.
he's tucking him
He's
now.
meant to be a D and like a pushing D guy. He's like he grabs rebounds, pushes the ball up the court, and plays defense.
Yeah.
He's meant to stop like a Dame Lillard or something. Like
Joe,
that's
what
what
do
we
you
need
think?
to like.
I was never a fan of the Josh Hart extension in the first place. Straight up, you can get like just average backup bench play out of dudes that are just rookies or second, third year guys for half the cost. Like to give Josh Hart $90 million.
Make him happy.
It's literally a Jalen Brunson Villanova move. It's like we have our best player, we're going to make him satisfied, and Josh Hart's a good player overall. But like what he does is just so replicable.
Yeah.
Joe, you don't think another team was giving Josh Hart that same contract? Because I bet you that somebody would have.
It doesn't matter. Is that team a good team, or is that team like where the Pistons or the Hornets are?
I don't think so. You got to remember where Josh Hart's beginning came from, and he was a G League guy that worked his way up into the NBA with the Lakers.
And when he was making $3 million a year, that's a great guy to have.
Yeah, like think of like Langston Galloway. Did Langston Galloway ever make that kind of money? No, not really, because he was the same kind of player. He would give you a little bit of defense. Langston probably facilitated the ball a little bit better, but it's the same kind of guy. These G League guys, it's very rare in my eyes that they get these big contracts. So to me, no, I don't think he would have got that money anywhere else.
Dude, the better way to go about it, if you're going to overpay a guy like Josh Hart, is you give Bruce Brown $22 million for one season, and then you just have him for 1 year instead of locking him in for a 4-year deal.
Well, that's how I feel.
3-year deal with a team option.
That's how I feel about DeMar DeRozan. Why wouldn't you take a flyer on this rental if it's not going to cost you that much?
It's matching up with the contract. He makes like $35 million.
All right.
No matter what, it costs you a decent amount of players.
What does Evan make?
18.
What does Grimes make?
Not even close. It's 2.3. Yeah, that's the thing. To get most of these guys that make like DeRozan, Levine, you have to include Mitchell Robinson because he's the only expendable player that makes a decent amount of money. Right.
Can you pull up G Street's comment this about the scheme?
Joe, the guy who we did go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
His offensive scheme is trash.
I mean, that is just something that's apparent. The only guy that really makes any kind of backdoor passes is Hart. You know what I'm saying? Like everything else is kind of seems forced or contested with the Knicks. The only time our looks are really open is when they're a drive and dish 3-point or like a cross pass skip, So I do agree that his offense is trash, but you kind of always know what you're getting with Tom Thibodeau. You're going to be a defensive first team, and then you're going to try and, play some bully ball and have more clock management. And the problem, like I said, when we lost our guy with the clock management. We had Julius Randle running the team again, and, that game got away from us or whatever. But yeah, there's, it's what you get when you get Tibbs.
Let me ask though, Frank, who do you give the ball to in that situation? Dante?
No, so Dante is.
Who do you give it
to? I don't. You have to give it to Julius,
right?
No,
if Jalen Brunson's out, you're giving it to OG, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could. But you shouldn't have been in that position anyway. The Knicks went. How many minutes did they go without scoring a basket?
I believe they lost 3 free throws statistically. I think
but in the fourth quarter, didn't they go 3 minutes without scoring a basket or something?
In each of the last 3 games, the Knicks have gone at least 4 minutes one time in the game without making a field goal.
Yeah, I was saying this earlier. I said this the first 2 games when we got in OG. I said we have these points in our games where we have these lulls and we can't score a basket. I saw it right away. And I said, if we do not fix this, this is going to become a terrible problem for us. And it has. It's come back to bite us in the ass twice. Everybody is off this high horse about the team. I think they should still be really excited about this basketball team.
Thank you, Frank.
We're still 5-1 in the 6 games that OG, Brunson, and Randle played together.
No, 100%. We're going to lose game. We're not going to win out for the rest of the season. You're going to have to lose some basketball games. But we can't. That was my biggest worry about losing IQ. Was the guy who went and got us those buckets when we had when we had a lull, when we couldn't score a basket, it went right into IQ's hands. He created off the 3, and he would probably hit it and get us going offensively.
So that was the real thing about the Josh Hart contract, by the way, is that when the Knicks signed Josh Hart and DDB, it was just IQ's gone. That's really part of the problem.
I understand, but and it's fine. But the thing is, now the Knicks have to address this. That's why when you say, "Oh, go get a starting shooting guard," it's a good idea and it's going to fortify our starters or whatever. But at the end of the day, our biggest issue right now is a massive scoring problem on the bench.
Well, that's the thing
That's
that
the
is
problem.
getting Murray is that then you stagger Brunson and Murray against
In
each
all
other.
in all reality, to me, you want to know what I would do? I would start Hart over DiVincenzo, and I would let DiVincenzo come off of the bench because now you have a guy in OG Anunoby that can hit the corner threes. You have a guy, and then they both play defense, right? Josh Hart can facilitate and rebound. He doesn't need as many looks, and then you can get your plug off of the bench with DiVincenzo.
Don't sleep on Deuce
That's
McBride.
an immediate fix.
Deuce McBride is filling the role of
No,
Emmanuel.
Deuce is great. Deuce is gonna
Without a doubt, more efficiently as well.
Deuce
Deuce
is
is
awesome. You want to know
Small
why?
sample size. I don't know if he's going to be long term.
Of course, no, of course.
It's working.
Anyway.
Every game has been more efficiency.
Here, let's read some of these comments, by the way. Ange, go ahead.
That's the thing about Deuce is that we might be at the point. Well, the production is great right now, but we're at the point where we can't. Like, I don't want to nurture this product in Deuce when if you get the right player in these conference finals. So he's going to go through his mistakes naturally because he hasn't seen the floor that much. I don't know if I want to give Deuce that much leeway to get going. When you get another piece, he's not going to play the same amount of minutes.
Correct? I mean, no matter if the Knicks bringing another guy, a rotation guy, without getting rid of a rotation guy, it's always been Deuce McBride losing the minutes or being the odd man out.
Right.
He becomes the 10th man in a 9-man rotation. It happened last year.
But I'll tell you this, Joe, I don't want to sleep on Malachi Flynn either, though.
Malachi Flynn and Precious Achiuwa are not part of Knicks' long-term plans in any way.
For sure. But from what I've seen so far, like his game. I like his game.
I mean, as the backup, sure. But again, when Brunson plays tonight, Malachi Flynn isn't playing more than 2 minutes garbage time if it gets there.
You're correct. But you know what I always respect
even
about
garbage
the Knicks?
time, I don't think he's getting it.
Well, you know what I respect about all the Knicks that have played for Tibbs since he's been here? They're always ready.
Yeah.
He always has them ready, and he always has the believing in the product on the floor, and it's more than just about yourself.
Even before Tibbs, I mean, these guys were under Nick Nurse for the most of their career before this year. Flynn, OG, and Achiuwa. Nick Nurse is basically like the new age version of Tom Thibodeau. So they would always be ready no matter what. And then Darko seemed like he was willing to run 14 guys in a game. So you always have to be ready in that situation. Just to go through a couple of these. Ash Rochelle from Twitter. Josh Hart was the first round pick, my dude. It was late first round pick, and he's making less than $6 million or $7 million when he got drafted. Coach, expiring deal doesn't help the Knicks. We need real contracts at this point. No matter what, every team needs and has expiring contracts. It's just part of the NBA and doing business. The guys 10 through 15 on your bench, whether they're all young guys, they're all vets just looking for thing, or there's teams that have M48 situations that we just don't talk about or care about because we only watch the Knicks. Every team has expiring contracts, and they help make deals go through. Without expiring contracts and crazy deals, Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook can and would never happen. Henry's not giving the ball to OG in any situation. That's kind of funny. The dude's a great catch and shoot player, so I don't know, unless you're saying like end of game situation. Alberto Ramos is talking about Zach Randolph, I think. Probably meant Randall, but I'm going to go with Zach Randolph. And when it was 93-89, Randolph missed 2 foul shots. Dude, if you remember 2007 like that, that's good for you, man.
Can anybody name the starting 5 of 2007 without looking it up?
No, don't sidetrack. Hit these comments.
Jamal Crawford, Zach Randolph. Is that before David Lee? Probably before David Lee if Zach Randolph was there. We got Eddie Curry, I think. That's some rough times. Starting point guard. I can't remember. Q Rich, maybe? Q Rich was small forward?
Frank Williams?
Nah, I think that was earlier. 05? Nah, I think Frank Williams also was off the bench.
All right, Vinny doesn't care because he knows nothing about those things.
All right, we should have never let IQ go. He was scoring off the bench, and now we don't have that, which is exactly what we're talking about, the whole Murray thing. Malcolm Brogdon is the very next comment that he makes. So let's talk about this real quick. That's why we need Malcolm Brogdon. Because based on like I said, Clarkson and Sexton seem like the Jazz are too good to be bought out. If no one's willing to offer 2 first-round picks for Dejounte Murray, which I think is bonkers between the whole league, like even the Lakers are offering 2 first-round picks to get rid of Angelo Russell, blows my mind. Like, what would you guys do for Malcolm Brogdon, or should we bring him in as like the next most available guy?
I'll hit this. To be honest, Joe, I don't even know what it takes to get him, so you'd have to fill me in.
Here, Frank, say what you think about him, and I'll look up his contract super fast.
I think Malcolm Brogdon has been a steady bench guy for many, many years. He's constantly proven himself. Every team that he goes to, he's always performed well. And when you see a guy that performs well wherever he goes, you kind of want to pull the trigger on him. I mean, I'd have to also see what we would trade for him. I would assume it would be relatively, hefty. The guy's a good basketball player.
I gotta know.
Yeah, I would want to know what we would possibly move for him, or what's been said that we were going to move for him. But
wasn't it Evan Fournier in a pick? That was.
I feel like anything's included.
If I'll put it like this, if it's Evan Fournier and like a second round pick, because I remember that's what I heard when they first started talking about him. If that's the deal and they didn't pull the trigger, then that deal was just a lie.
I do know the Blazers are trying to hold off as long as possible to try to get an unprotected first, but they're definitely going to get a first out of this guy. There's no shots.
You would have to. Yeah, you would have to.
Hey, Joe, do you remember the year that we got Brunson? If we didn't get Brunson, I believe Brogdon was the main target.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? If we didn't get Brunson, Emmanuel Quickley is the starting point guard of this team.
I don't think so.
I think he would be. Because even Brogdon's our 30, 31-year-old dude with constant injury issues, which is why he ended up coming off the bench for most of his career anyway. I think if not for Brunson showing up, Emmanuel Quickley would be on the net. There's so many different things that would have made IQ stay here. It's just crazy it happened this way.
I don't think it moves the needle, IQ starting. I think his numbers would be. No,
I'm not saying we're like as good as we are now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting little variable there. I'll tell you that. But
do you guys think Emmanuel Quickley makes an All-Star game in the next 3 years?
No.
I do.
Probably not.
I think he does.
Joe,
he does.
The East.
100%, dude. It's not only about your numbers and how your team's doing. It's about fan voting at the beginning. If Emmanuel Quickley was one of the most likable guys on our team, he's gonna have a whole country voting for him. He's gonna have like 2/3 of Knicks fans still voting for him.
Let me ask you a question: Was Scotty Barnes an All-Star?
No,
I think he almost made it last year. I mean, his numbers went down this year.
Scotty
Barnes was top 10 in voting last year, and he did not deserve it.
So that's kind of my point. I don't know if a guy from the Raptors is going to make the All-Star team.
But my other point is that I think Emmanuel Quickley is going to end up having like a 23-7-6 kind of year very soon. If he had played 35, 40 minutes in the game, he already averaged 4 in like 29 minutes.
Yeah, 7's a lot though for him, Joe.
No. He'd be 7 assists, 6 rebounds.
I love Emmanuel Quickley, and I think that he's going to be a fantastic basketball player. And I'm really, really sad that we couldn't figure out how to keep him. And I agree. I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to be a plus 20 per game guy. I think he can give you 4 to 5 assists a game, maybe 6 that I think he would cap out at. But I think that's a lot for him because he's more offensive minded. I think he can give you a steal a game or close to it. I think that he can give you a couple of rebounds, like maybe tap out at 4 tops. That's like a lot. But I don't think he's ever going to be that all-star player.
He's already averaging 19, 5, and 5 for them. He's only been there 8 games.
Let's get through some comments again, Joe.
If he gets there, more power to him.
Alberto Ramos says we should ride these guys because the trade has only been 2 weeks. Let them develop. My response to that is like, when you're looking at the makeup of a team, it's very obvious that we need a shot creator off the bench, whether it be rotating Dejounte Murray and Brunson when he hits the bench, whatever it is. But when Brunson is not on that court, we do not look good.
Next.
For what it's worth, every team would be like that. If you lose your best player, you are a worse team.
It's not, dude, but it's not. It was what I was saying earlier. It's not about, because like if you've noticed that Tibbs has been running Jalen and Julius with the second unit, right, throughout the game. He's playing
taking turns, yeah.
Right. So the team looks. I'm telling you, this is what it is. The team looks better when Jalen is in the game. Period. Whether Julius is on the floor or not, because Jalen has a higher IQ of how to create more space. Yeah. Julius is not the guy that is going to create space. He's going to bully his way in and either dish it out or try and get an N1, and that's why we have a hard time creating with him. I think personally, when you put Jalen on the bench, I think you need to have Hartenstein in the game. More importantly than anybody else, because Hartenstein is the best creator off of our bench. That is, and it's been so obvious, right? So like, there's little things that you can do. Maybe not run the offense out of Julius Randle when Brunson's on the bench. Maybe run it through Hartenstein, see if it changes the dynamic.
I love that idea. Tibbs has just never really. The only time Tibbs has really had a.
I don't understand why. Like that's what blows my mind is like
the only time Tibbs has really had like a scoring center and an offense around the center was when he had Karl Anthony Towns, and never again. So before
he did have Joakim Noah, who was a great passer. He played with a center like that.
So technically, he should be able to write some. Yeah, we do need another forward to give Randle some rest, not a point guard and Deuce. We have OG Anunoby who slides over when Randle takes rest.
OG's our backup 4 now. And I mean, before then it was Josh Hart. If they were willing to have Josh Hart be the backup 4, it's
Tibbs needs to learn player management. He's playing guys too much.
So can I also tackle this one as well, because I was thinking about this the other day as well. When I was just talking about how Brunson and Julius are both playing with the second unit, this is something that I believe the coach comes to the players and talks about. Like when Derek, like obviously Thibodeau gets a lot of flack about what happened to Derrick Rose, right? But the coach comes to the players and talks to them about it. These are the leaders of their team. They know the situation in the landscape of their roster. So there was a conversation, I guarantee you, between Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and Tom Thibodeau saying, hey, guys, this is my plan for the team to facilitate that we don't have a massive lull in our offense. I'm going to try not to kill you guys, but this is what I have. What do you think? And they both probably went, I'm down. Let's see how it works.
Do you guys think – sorry, I was going to ask, if this was the playoffs right now, do you – like Jalen Brunson probably would have played the last 2 games. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's partly on them to be like, hey, our bodies are a little beat up. We need a couple days off.
We split it. We split it, right? So we lost one, we won one.
And the Grizzlies literally put out a G League team, and it was scary for a little bit. But, I mean, if you're ever going to take a game off, it's when they're starting Venus Williams and Gigi Jackson.
Yeah.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more, man. And people say closer, like I keep specifically using these words because I really do want to expand the vocabulary of like the Knicks fandom. Like there's different kind of scorers. Like we need a shot creating scorer. We need a guy who can make his own shot that doesn't rely on getting the ball passed to him. Malcolm Brogdon, Dejounte Murray, enter the chat.
No, so what you're saying is you think we need somebody that can play off ball?
No, we need someone who can
on ball
isolate better than everybody else we have besides Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson.
Basically better than Deuce McBride or Dante DiVincenzo or Josh Hart.
I think Tibbs is deploying that second unit when he keeps OG in by himself without Brunson and Randle.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's trying to rely on OG.
They're trying to see if he can be that for sure.
He's gotta ask for the ball a little more. He's got to be more assertive.
Well, all right. So there was a game when Jalen was out that he was balling.
Dude, what's funny about those minutes is that they're not even losing those minutes, really. It's that they're literally, like, if they're playing 4 minutes together, it's like they're winning those minutes like 4-2 or like 5-3. Like, neither team can score at all, which, I mean, you're still technically winning the minutes, but it's like you put your team in a lull, you take away, like, if you had momentum going in, you take the momentum away. Like, when both teams are having that much trouble putting the ball in the basket, it becomes a different game for a little bit, and it can psych everyone out.
We've been on for an hour, so let's speed round through these comments. So we got a lot more that came in since we said we're going to take comments. Let's just take them one at a time, one line them, and we'll keep going.
Yeah, you want to just take one comment?
One each, yeah.
Go ahead, Joe. Oh, we did that one.
Let Frank handle it. Let Frank handle these rounds. Let Frank handle a bunch.
How do you feel about Saddiq Bey and AJ? This is more of a Joey question. How do you feel about Saddiq Bey and AJ Griffin if we deal with Atlanta?
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, Saddiq Bey would definitely help from like the backup for like a guy that, I mean, on paper can create his own shot. He's never actually really proven it. It's more like the tantalizing thing. Yeah, it's another Villanova guy, which would just be adding to that humor, but it doesn't move the needle really. It doesn't help what we need the most.
All right,
go ahead, Frank.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon is a want. He's not a need. Deuce and Hart can do the backup point job. I think that currently right now you fall as fans, you fall in love with what you have, right? And you don't want to move away and have these changes. If you want to compete with Boston and you want to compete with Milwaukee, you have to get somebody that's better. And it's not to say that these players aren't good. It's that there are tiers of players within the league. And sometimes you just like when you see Deuce off the bench, like he's a great player. He has a lot of potential. But in a playoff series, probably want somebody with a little bit more experience, more court time,
That's what I was alluding to before. You're giving
That's-
dudes too much too soon. It's not
we're not
ready, bro. And
well,
you know,
Guys, I want to
that's
point out
why
we're about to break our record of viewers in the room at once. If we hit 50, that would be a record for.
I think it
Well,
touched 50 for a little bit.
Did
that's
it?
why I'm
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
why I'm so big on getting somebody for so cheap, is because you always have to remember, yes, you want your team to be as successful as possible so you can enjoy watching it selfishly, right? But there are still teams that you're not better than because of the caliber of players that are available just for trade or that's already on your roster. And
Listen, are
going
we
to go
rocking
get
for a minute?
guy
Because
like-
I got to pour coffee if we're doing this.
No, I gotta go to work. So I was gonna stop in an hour time.
go ahead.
All right, so
We'll
let's
stay.
get.
I'm staying.
All right, Andrew's staying. All right, let's rip through these comments. Joe, get to these comments before you go because you have a high intelligence in this stuff.
Just picks and 48 will get Brogdon. I was thinking that, like, dude, if it just was
I
like
have
the
coffee
Detroit
for
first round
Throwback.
pick, if it was just the Detroit first round pick and then like one of the 5 protected second round picks they had to get in 48 to get Brogdon, I would have already done it. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. The thing is, it's adding $4 million to their salary cap, and that gets them really, really, really close to the second tax threshold, which they definitely want to avoid. So,
50. We got 50 people in here.
woo, 50 people, and they're looking at some empty rooms.
Let me just plug. Joe, can you just plug everything just so everybody knows where we're at and what
Yeah,
we got?
yeah. In the top right corner of your screen, shop now at bignickenergy.com. If you haven't already, if you're on Instagram, come over to YouTube or Twitter. We can read your comments through there, preferably YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to hit, we're about to hit 1,500 subscribers, and we're trying to hit the watch hour threshold so I can do this more often. So, yeah, bignickenergy.com. Follow us everywhere you can find us.
Yo,
And-
shout out Nick's
oh, yeah.
Morning Brew. Here's Nick's Afternoon Brew.
Hey, shout out some Nick's Coffee Brew. Hey, Nick's Morning Brew. They do a
Shout
bunch
out
of good
to
stuff over there.
Killing the gang. They do great work over there.
Sherwin's against making a trade based on all these comments, which I really want to know, like, what he thinks the Knicks' ceiling is just with the team they have currently. Because these hypotheticals imply the Knicks can get farther in the playoffs if they do make a move. Whether I think with what they have, the ceiling was still and always was a second round exit. So I don't know if he's like just down with that or if he thinks they can get farther than that. There's a chance that they don't make a move like this is a first round exit, depending on the matchup, or we get stuck in the play-in. Like, who knows? I made a video saying that there's a crazy, terrible hypothetical. The Raptors make the 10th seed.
Oh, you got cooked for it.
The Knicks go down to 7 or 8, and then all of a sudden they lose the 7-8 matchup, and then IQ and RJ are in the Garden trying to take the Knicks out of the playoffs, which would be terrible and hilarious sports script writing. If you,
I want to give a little insight to the subscribers, the fans of the brand, the fans of the team. When you guys comment stuff, like, we actually look and we have a chat, and when you guys cook us, we make fun of each other so hard. So, like, it's all love here. We don't take it personal.
I just gotta say though, man, a lot of my takes end up being right, and I do remember the names and the videos they're on, and I come back later. There is a video where I said I bet that IQ will make an All-Star game for another team before RJ would ever make one for the Knicks. RJ is not even a Knick anymore, and you know if IQ is making an All-Star game, I'm gonna go back to that video, tag that one dude, and be like, "Ha! I told you so. You said you wouldn't remember me, but I remembered because I'm crazy." That's ADHD. All right. Anyway, Cameron Goldberg. I think the last game versus the Magic was the worst loss so far this season. I'm not going to say any loss without Jalen Brunson is a worse loss.
I agree.
And they always have our number for some silly ass reason.
Dude, they match up. They're a young team that matches up well. They play defense.
We left RJ in the Magic arena.
Oh, yeah. That's when they made the trade. RJ and IQ was literally
RJ in the Magic arena. No,
could you imagine?
They bring him to Disney. They're like, "Oh, by the way, you're being traded."
It's like Blades of Glory. He just kicks his son out of the car.
Let's get through these.
Drummond for a second. I don't know how much Drummond makes. I'm not against that.
I think that's
Andre Drummond has been having the most. He was starting for a bit and he was killing it, but he was playing like 9 to 12 minutes a game. This guy was playing the most efficient 9 to 12 minutes you've ever seen in your entire life. I was fought because I'm a big fantasy sports guy. So there are certain players that I've always enjoyed watching, and he's a dinosaur in the league, just an old school center.
You enjoy the guy getting 20 rebounds. Interesting.
When Kevin Love was going off for like 30, what a surprise. I love Hart out of nowhere. Just like a fire was lit under me as soon as he grabbed 20 balls.
He gets 5 of everything. It's great.
Listen. But yeah.
If you want drama, and if you want to do the Capella deal, which would obviously be more for Murray than Capella or anything like that, I just need anyone that feels a certain type of way about like, oh my God, I want to deal Mitch personally. It's not that I necessarily want to deal Mitch. It's that I know the writing on the wall. Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitch Robinson, contract-wise, will not be on the same team next year. So you're going to end up having to pick, are you an iHeart guy? Are you a Mitchell Robinson guy? And I know that sucks and people don't want to think about that. The same way we're all saying before, like, hey, I don't want to lose my favorite players. I fall in love with the players on this team. This team is not a title team currently. You have to be willing to get rid of people. No ifs, ands, or buts. Hard stop. I'm going to read this last one and I'm out. Oh, wait. 7 snapped. You the man, by the way. Ridiculous this channel doesn't get more viewers. You guys do your thing. Love the vibes and content, fellas. Bless.
Thanks, Snap.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Listen, we're putting the most attention we ever put into YouTube currently in hopes that it does rise, but we can't do this without your guys' help. So spread the word, subscribe, we need.
And I said a lot. I try to say it every time at least once. Shout out Mill. That girl is crushing it. She does so much.
Mill for doing most of the work over here on the YouTube.
Regardless of following us, you guys should definitely follow her Instagram and her TikTok. She does a bunch of content, and she does as many, I think 80 to 90% of the post games for us after these games. And all that she does the whole time is just read listener comments and then react to what they're saying to her. So we're trying to interact with you guys as we go, but there's 3 or 4 of us at a time. Like her whole thing is just talking to you guys as fans and listeners. She's the shit.
Guys. She does it for you guys, legitimately. She
gets I like that Kelly Olynyk
comment. Monetization.
I like that Kelly Olynyk. The Kelly Olynyk comment.
CP's the bomb, by the way. This dude listens to almost every one of our shows. Guys, I gotta go get ready for work though. So salute to everyone.
All right, I gotta turn this. Hold on. I gotta turn this into. Yeah, go ahead, Joe. I gotta turn this into the 3-framer.
See you guys later. Best of luck to everyone. Let's go Knicks. We're taking those Rockets. Take Jabari Smith over on 3s. Randle doesn't cover.
Bye, Joe.
Get away, Joe.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are good to keep going. Just laying us out here.
Randle has a bad attitude and Dibs deals with it. So we know that Randle has a lot of mental lapses on the floor. It's very apparent. It's all over social media every time it happens. We post it. Everybody posts it. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes as far as when that happens, film the next day or film right after the game. We don't know if Tibbs is chewing Randle's butt behind. Like
behind.
Hey, yo.
You know what I'm trying to say. We don't know if he's chewing him up. So I don't want to say like Tibbs isn't holding him accountable just because he's not taking him right off the floor. Bro, Julius Randle's a 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. Sometimes you just let him get out of it on his own. Let him shoot the rock. Let him miss a couple. So I agree with you about like Randle's attitude and his body language. But as far as like how Tibbs handles him, I really don't have a comment because I don't know what goes on after that game's over.
What do we got? Throw up some more comments.
Keep on moving. I'm checking some to see if our source was reliable.
I know Frank likes Kelly.
I think we've both been fans of Kelly Olynyk since he came into the league.
Yep.
Wish we could get a young guy like Shaedon Sharpe. Yeah, I mean, we have young guys on our team already. We have plenty of youth. We have the right amount of youth. I really would have loved to keep Taj Gibson on his team. Just to have him in the locker room.
I'm going to throw something that, like, no way. I talked about this once.
You need more guard presence, man. We're so guard heavy, dude.
Listen to me. We brought in Precious Achiuwa, right? And the reputation he has from Raptors fans after speaking to them is that he thinks he's a player that he is not, right? Whatever. We don't know yet. But Kai Jones was available, young as hell, jumps out the damn gym, an athletic freak. And people think he's on drugs, but he's not. They think he's a locker room cancer. But how do you give Taj Gibson a look before someone like that?
You know the answer to that.
Yeah, because he knows the system, blah, 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 because it's family ties over in the Knicks. And that's kind of the nepotism in the New York Knicks organization is what kind of unattracts me to what's going on right now. Like, it's like you got to be CAA, you got to be this, that, or we just don't look at you.
Wow, this is a good one. Who remembers that block, man?
The Roy Hibbert block that ruined my fucking life.
Yeah, I really think the Knicks have a chance to make the East Conference Finals if we could avoid the Celtics in the second round. So I don't know where we got to fall, but if we could get into the second round without seeing the Celtics anything could happen from there. And then once you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, health comes into play, luck comes into the play, and just if you're hot at the right time, Knicks could be in.
I want to see the Miami Heat again, man. I want to see them again. They are not beating us. They're not beating us.
Bones from the Clippers. Bones is
Bones
cool.
Highland.
Bones is cool. I really think the Knicks not only are looking for the right players, but the right persons. I think they're very.
Also, the Clippers want to move Bones. That's the other thing.
I've seen no reports of the Clippers looking to move much.
I don't think he gets any run at all. But I think the Knicks are very, very like looking for a specific type of listen, obviously they need the talent, but they're looking for the right fit in terms of the chemistry already that they got going on. Like, just imagine OG just seems like a guy you could just throw in the locker room and he'll be cool with everybody. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you got to have the right guys behind the scenes as well.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. What do you think is the biggest void on the Knicks roster?
I think it's two things. Like Vinny has said, it's a shot creator, and I would like a veteran presence. But that's just that's just like a personal thing. I just always like to have an old head around.
I think currently the Knicks' biggest problem is their backup center. Now, I think after that,
right now, the glaring obvious, yes. But
yes.
If the reports that are coming out that Mitch is going to be back and we can maintain this level of winning and, we stay on this trajectory, I'm not worried about that necessarily until next season.
Okay.
But yeah, Precious Achiuwa. I mean, he went 6-6. It was just an ugly ass 6-6.
Is Brunson for sure playing tonight? I don't know if anybody has seen, but me, Vinny, and everybody on the BKA account, we did get some news. Actually, late last night, we got the news that Brunson will be playing. I said this morning it's not 100% confirmed. I don't want to make it seem like we're any type of insiders, but
we're breaking news.
We do have friends inside the organization, and we were told that Jalen Brunson is playing tonight.
Yeah, and since then it had been confirmed. So as far as we know, he is playing.
Tell me why not Henry? I don't know what that means.
Is there someone in here named Henry?
Oh, maybe. Olynyk provides a meeting scoring for the second unit. Yeah. I know, Frank.
No,
I know you guys.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, he's giving you everything. He plays defense. He can shoot the three ball. He can score mid range.
Tibbs is not doing anything with Randle. He can Randle. Okay, we got to speak. We got to just maybe write proper English. He could Randle.
He might not.
Do 5 turnovers.
Might not be this guy's first language, bro.
Every day, the same turnovers. Yeah, I mean, listen, there is no perfect player. I actually was reading yesterday that, obviously we've seen that video that Randle had that lapse after he missed those 2 free throws. He jogged back. They hit 2 daggers in a row. But there was that one video that he just really had a bad lapse. And I seen a lot of people commenting on it saying LeBron James does the same exact thing.
Yep.
LeBron James is supposed to be the best player in the world, yada, yada, yada. Even he has lapses defensively where he just doesn't show effort. So this stuff happens. Maybe it's just more apparent with these guys.
You just sparked a thought in my mind. Julius was drafted by the Lakers when they had LeBron.
No, they got
Kobe.
LeBron and traded Randle.
They had Kobe.
Kobe was still on the roster. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to, because the only what I was gonna say was, and excuse my ignorance for not remembering all that. That maybe he came up watching LeBron doing that, but I mean they're probably around the same age.
I'm telling you, if you go watch tape on this guy when he wasn't with the Knicks, this is not how he played basketball. They forced him to become this basketball player.
He's also
what kind of play? So Vin, what kind of style of basketball?
Frank, he was a true big man.
Succeed?
He used to be a true big man where he only gets his points in the paint. He used to bully people only down there, and his efficiency in New Orleans, which you should definitely look up or watch some tape on, he was amazing. And if we got that Julius Randle here, there would be no talk of any of this.
We're getting a little bit of that. Where just the problem then was that he wasn't on the scouting report as much. So as we've seen, after that Atlanta,
I don't even think that's the issue. I think that he got forced to do something for the first time in his career that he didn't practice his whole career, and he's just not efficient at it. And they just had no other choice because he was the most efficient at it. Not saying that
it's a learning curve, and Randall's got better every single year since he's been with the Knicks. So
now he's going back to the way he's meant to play basketball, and yes, he's getting way better.
Good chance on DeMar. Vincent, DeMar.
I'm all in, but the way Joey put it together is we really have to give away pieces for this guy, and that turned me off because the money wouldn't match for an Evan Fournier and a Quentin Grimes. So we'd be looking at a Mitch in that deal, and I'm out on that.
All right, I think we ran through everything we got. You guys want to keep it going? What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, I'm ready. We can cut this off. Mill will be back tonight with the post-game show. The game is on in 2 hours. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and you're here. We have some merch for sale. All this helps us keep doing this. The more that you guys help us, the more we can do this. We want to quit our jobs and just do this. So, the more you help, the more it works. Thanks to Frank and Angelo for coming on. Thanks, Joey. I know we had to go to work or whatever. Thank you for everybody listening. And we'll be back sooner than later. Let's go Knicks.